Hey guys, Cam from 15 back at it with another video for you guys. Back with another I almost said my happy marriage Blue Box episode review as we are starting to wind down the show, which I believe we only have two more episodes left to go, and then that is it of Blue Box. Um and I don't honestly don't know if there's any more content past this, I guess, summer camp arc or this like sports camp arc or something like that. But yeah, and then apparently I also saw on the TL about next week's episode because again, if you guys don't know, Japan for whatever reason gets the episodes out the episode a week earlier. So episode 24 is already out. And that is the rejection episode where we are going to see Hina get rejected. But I'll talk about that obviously this upcoming week. All right. So this episode is basically kind of focused on Taiki, just trying to figure out his feelings, right? So we start off with that cliffhanger we got left from last week, where basically they asked him the question of like, hey, what the whole, who do you like, right? And basically, um, Taki says he loves Kyo. And Kyo basically backs him up and says, "Oh yeah, like this is the thing. Like we don't like each other romantically. He's talking about this." So in that way, he kind of gets out of that situation. The teacher comes and says, "Like, hey, it's getting quite late. I think it's time you guys need to go to bed and everything." So Taiki thanks Kyo for basically having his back right there in that instant. And basically, again, it's kind of Kyo telling him like, so, are you gonna give answers or anything and stuff like that? So yeah, and this kind of has it to where Taiki throughout the episode, he's just thinking about now with Hina, he still sees Hina as a friend, but he also is realizing he's getting really nervous around her when it comes to talking to her. And we even see like he's starting to see her more as a girl now than just a friend, right? I mean, sometimes that happens when you like a girl who you may have known for a long time that's been your friend. And it's like, okay, yeah, now I'm starting to see them as a girl that I potentially may be interested in. And that's kind of the whole thing. And he even reflects also what Shinan's saying, like, I know we've been living together and I know I've liked her from the jump and everything, but it's like, well, what in the case if she doesn't reciprocate the feelings? Like maybe Hina does, maybe I do go after Hina, right? But again, it's kind of the episode of that dichotomy where he's thinking of like who he should go with, who he thinks is best with, and things like that. So yeah, and then yeah, he also has it to where he's also seeing that other basketball guy, talking to Chinatsu. So he does get a little bit jealous. There is this funny scene to where he talks with Taiki and everything, and he's like, "Oh, I saw you talking into Chinatsu. You must have an admiration for her, right?" And he gets all like jealous and or I guess he gets kind of pissed off. I guess you can say some of it has to be a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of like he's just upset because the dude isn't taking him seriously, right? And basically kind of misinterpreting his feelings for Chinatsu, which it led to a funny scene, right then and there. So, there's that. But you do get a moment with Chinatsu and Taiki. She sees him and she grabs his shirt again, and Taiki makes a excuse me, the mention that it's been a while since she's done that, and basically he's got a bruise because I guess he scraped himself doing the badminton stuff, and she has a band-aid. She patches the band-aid on it, and I think she even writes on it. So it's kind of the whole thing like, okay, like she's like doing this and she's like, well, I gotta go, see ya and everything. And then that's when obviously he peeks around the corner, he sees the dude, and that's when the dude sees him and is like, oh, okay, I see what's going on, right? But that's kind of the thing there with that situation. But then eventually the thing is he overhears that Shinatsu is out running and everything's, and eventually what happens is he starts to run now. He basically is running because he's trying to find Shinatsu because he's worried about her, which when they eventually meet up, he's like, why are you running out here? He kind of basically lied, saying like, oh, I'm just doing some training. But then I think it was like the old lady that Shinatsu was helping. It's like, oh, were you just like running around trying to find your girlfriend or something? I understand. And they're like, no, we're not like that, right? But regardless of the thing, also Hina was looking for Taiki, but that's when Kyo's like, well, he's not here right now. I think he went out to go run, right? So essentially, you just have it to where they they drop off this old lady who like twisted her ankle, and they end up driving back, and it's kind of this whole thing where they're in the car. He looks at her, but she's not really paying attention to him and everything. So that's kind of thing. So, but they get dropped off right then and there back at the hotel that they're staying at. It looks like as they after they say their good nights, it does look like she may have turned back to look at him, and then eventually she just turned around and walked away. But then he turned, Taiki had this feeling like, am I being watched? And yeah, that's what happened. So, the following day, they're still training and everything. You just have it to where Hina was looking in on Taiki, but Taiki's pretty busy right now. But that's kind of the thing. And the episode basically ends off where Hina's friend is just like, well, I'm glad you got to see, I'm glad you got to see Taiki. And she's like, yeah. And basically, that's when her friend brings up, hey, the summer camp or the camp, like, bonfire thing of the fact if you confess your feelings to the guy you like, you'll end up being together, right? And you just have it to where Hina is just like, I've already confessed my feelings, I'm just waiting for him to let me know about how he feels about me. And basically, you just have it to where Hina's friend is like, well, why don't you just ask him to give you an answer now? Which, honestly, that's the most sensible thing. Like at some point, like I've been saying this, like if I was in Hina's shoes, I understand her approach of like, no, I'm gonna do whatever I can to get him to like me because I know he likes somebody else. But at the end of the day, like, I'd rather like to hear an answer saying like, bruh, do you reciprocate my feelings or not? Like I appreciate a friend saying like, you sure you want to be in the dark with this? Which, I've seen the clip of when she gets rejected, right? I'm not going to go into it until next week, but I feel like the reason why it will just hurt her so much is not only because the whole Chinatsu aspect of like, what does she have to offer that I don't? She doesn't know you like that, like I do. And then also too, it's kind of like the whole thing of like, she puts it off right then and there, so it's only gonna, it only will hurt her because she basically told the dude like, you don't have to tell me now, just tell me later, right? Instead of just telling it right then and there, where Taiki could say like, hey, I don't like you like that, but thank you for telling me, right? So next week's gonna be interesting. I bet it's gonna be a lot of emotional stuff, right then and there, and then on top of it, it's gonna be that where most characters feel like they're going to get most people feel like they're going to hate the outcome because they're like, no, Hina, I think is better for Taiki, compared to Chinatsu, which honestly, I will say, like, I can't deny, I do think Hina would probably be better for Chinatsu or for Taiki than Chinatsu is, especially with the fact, like, they actually have a bond. Like, and I know in the back half of the season of the show, we got in more Taiki and Chinatsu moments and everything. But even then, it's like, they still feel distant and they still feel awkward around each other to the point, like, I don't believe, like, they could just magically out of the blue just fall in love with each other. But, again, the thing is, when you like somebody, you like somebody. You're going to tell them, you're going to want them. And if somebody comes up and says, hey, I really like you, I want to go out with you, you're going to do the right thing and you're not going to conform to what somebody else wants to do because that only is not making you happy and it's not going to make the relationship successful. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rejection leading up to the rejection and the scene and everything when I finally hear it and everything. I think it's going to be a masterful scene, but at the same time very emotional. But anyways, how to get over, guys. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more blue box content or any other anime content added to the channel, things like that. But till then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day or your night. In this video. Till then, guys, peace.